This is the Lifestream Podcast, episode number 6 for August 25th, 2015. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lifestream Podcast. I am Mike Micklin, also known as Vader SW1 on the forums, and joining me on this mythic quest into all things Final Fantasy are several goats. And these people. Carlie.
Hello.
Flintlock.
I mean, hi.
JasonTandro.
Bah means no.
And Lex.
Hello.
Wow. He did when you
Wait,
started,
we-
and now he's not doing it.
I shall not assimilate.
Most of you that are listening probably know what the show's about, but for new listeners, basically what this show is about is for an hour or so every few weeks, we will discuss all things Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy related. We'll hit upon recent news and notes and delve into a different topic of discussion each episode. Have a recommendation for something we should discuss? Feel free to hit us up at lifestreampod@gmail.com or comment on the episode posts on the forums each week. How's it going, guys?
And if you're listening for the first time, we're definitely not goats.
Yeah, that's important to point out. Doing good.
I know, Jason, you're tied up in something that you wish you hadn't started.
Well, yeah, but I need a job to make money, so no, I'm doing a as part of your lovely Final Fantasy retrospective. I beat Final Fantasy I very early, way ahead of schedule. It's not a terribly long game, all things considered. So I said, let's go back and do a challenge run, and I chose a nice middle-of-the-road challenge, the 4-Thief run. And I'm not going to say that it's an incredible challenge, because I have gotten to Provoca. That said, having played the game on easy to beat it and going both to the normal difficulty and with 4 thieves, I have lost half of my head of hair just to this game.
I think the only thing that could possibly be worse is doing the 4 white mages.
Yeah, not counting any solo runs. Yeah, it's and again, depending upon who you ask, some people argue that white mage is actually easier because you're never going to want for healing spells. With thieves, you have limited defense and you have to rely on potions, which is the worst thing for your wallet early on.
So yeah, I thought we'd go ahead and start out with some news and notes that we've got going on here in the Final Fantasy world. Top of the list, I want to give a correction on the last episode. We were talking about the Final Fantasy XV Dawn trailer ad nauseum last episode, and it was mentioned that during our conversation about that it may have been pre-rendered, and thanks to Tetsujin on the Lifestream forums, we know that this was not in fact pre-rendered, so our apologies for the mistake there.
Yeah, it's just the joke was funnier when you throw in the word pre-rendered. I actually was talking out of my ass there, which is pretty normal. So,
the next piece of big news here, it was announced at D23 that Big Hero 6's world would be coming to Kingdom Hearts 3. The D23 Expo in Japan is actually going to feature a all-new Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, and that event takes place on November the 1st. Were we excited about the Big Hero 6 world coming to Kingdom Hearts 3?
What world?
Big Hero 6, and yes, I'm very excited.
Big Hero 6?
Yes,
Have you
correct.
I
not
have no idea
seen
what that
it?
is.
What's that?
Oh my god.
See, and this is actually what my bit of issue is with this, because not many people that know exactly what Big Hero 6 is as compared to using a classic Disney cartoon or a classic Disney world. I'm just not sure that aside from Wreck-It Ralph, that really any of the Pixar stuff fits in well with Kingdom Hearts. Carlie, do you feel differently about that?
Yes, I do, because the movie's amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's already on DVD. It's plenty of chances to see it. The movie won an Oscar.
Carlie, for those of us that have not seen the movie, give us a brief synopsis.
Well, Big Zero 6 is based on a...
Based on a
True story.
I think
don't
we
leave
lost.
it hanging.
Space.
I think we
based on
lost
a
you, Carlie.
door opening.
Well, just while we have a moment, I was going to say that it's a mark of how professional we are doing this podcast that you mention Big Hero 6, and Lex and I are both like, what? How's that?
Yeah.
I know of it the same way I know of. I don't know, man. It's just I haven't actually seen it. I know that it exists. I know that it's a thing. As far as other things working in the Kingdom Hearts universe, I will just like to point out that the Tron level in Kingdom Hearts 2 was the coolest level in the game. All right.
I've heard people bitch about that too, so I
I can understand Tron. Tron is like almost a classic at this point.
right.
But
I've heard of it.
yeah, I've heard of it. So there you go. so like I've never actually seen Tron myself. I'm just not a big Kingdom Hearts fan, I don't think. I thought I was for the longest time. I played 1 and 2 on the PS2. And I was like, yeah, this is great. Or like, there are some Final Fantasy characters in this game, hooray, pretty much. And then...
So I have locked myself in my room.
Okay.
Because my mom came home and she does not know the meaning of being silent. That's what happened. I had to mute myself.
But when they announced
And
now-
when you open the door, it does it sound.
when they announced the
I don't think
HD
it was gonna be
remasters,
good in the podcast.
when they announced the HD remasters, I was just kind of like, oh, I'm really excited for this. And I bought 1.5 and I played it for a bit and I was like, no, not for me. Like, it's just not. I got to Agrabah and I was like, yeah, and I keep thinking, oh, I need to get back to that playthrough, and I just don't care about it. I just do not care.
Mike, when you come to edit this podcast, I want you to get rid of all of this discussion and just cut from Carlie saying it's based on, and then to her saying, I've locked myself in my room.
Things got real creepy real fast. I locked myself in the room. Call the police.
Welcome to TLS Podcast After Dark. I think we've broke Carlie again for the second episode in a row here.
Dude, God.
I'm fine.
Ryu, aren't you so sad you missed this?
So, Carlie, I will let you resume your explanation of Big Hero 6 here.
Okay, I'm just gonna give you the description that is on TV tropes. It says in fictional San Francisco, which is San Francisco and Tokyo together. It's like a fictional city mixed in both of those. Robotics prodigy brothers Hiro and Tadashi Hamada live with their aunt over a coffee and bakery shop. And Tadashi attends the prestigious university San Francisco, Tokyo. I don't even know how to say that together. And one his brother, who spends his time after high school hustling illegal robot fights, to do the same. Tadashi invents a huggable learning robot named Baymax for assisting in healthcare and hopes it can be used in hospitals in the future. But a sad fate halts that dream. Little bit of spoilers.
Okay.
When a threat to the city arises caused by the mysterious criminal yokai, Hiro upgrades Baymax into a fighting flying machine and recruits Tadashi's 4 best friends to form the ultimate superhero team, Big Hero 6, to stop him.
And I thought this was going to be a short episode.
If you've seen The Iron Giant, which is a fantastic animated movie, if you haven't, you should see that immediately. It kind of has a lot of similarities with that. Baymax is amazing. You're probably gonna be crying as an adult at the end of the movie.
I will definitely have to check it out. I have not seen it myself, but I've heard good things about it.
Great things. What I can tell you is it's a perfect world for Kingdom Hearts.
What makes it perfect in your opinion?
Well, think about like everything you love about Tron. So now you kind of have this sort of animated superhero
What if you don't
kind
love
of
Tron?
thing.
If you haven't seen Tron.
Shame on you.
What if you
Shame
haven't
on
seen Tron?
you. That's really you're bad. You should see Tron. So you have this kind of futuristic city. You have this teenager superheroes. You have this really adorable robot, and you go around in like super skates and stuff like that, like fighting Heartless and all that stuff.
I could see it. I mean, I could see that based on that premise, but I mean, like I say, they've had weirder ideas. Let's not forget that Disney owns Star Wars now, so we're probably going to see a Star Wars universe.
No.
No,
No.
I don't think we are.
No.
That you have a kid, definitely should be one of the movies that you show to your kids, because it's one of those movies that even though it's for kids, it's also for adults. It's for everyone of all ages to enjoy.
I liked Tangled, and I like that I saw Tangled in the trailer.
To be honest, Big Hero 6 is a lot better than Tangled.
My immediate thoughts drift off to Frozen. I'm betting Frozen ends up in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Vader.
I don't see how it doesn't.
Vader. Let it go. Let it go.
I know. I fucking hate the movie, right? But I can't imagine it not being in Kingdom Hearts 3 with as big of a success as
How
it
could
was.
you hate that movie? Like even I enjoyed that movie, and I'm like the most cynical bastard ever.
He has children. That is why he hates that movie. You do not understand what parents are dealing with.
I dislike that movie mainly because I thought it was just weak. The only thing it had was the songs that were big off of it, and it's not my cup of tea. Just not my cup
Vader's
of
not
tea.
on board with
Probably not the right podcast.
the new feminist Disney.
to argue. Probably not the right podcast to argue about Frozen being good or not.
Yeah, I need
I
to
just
stop
know that
biting. I need to stop biting on these things and just like be incredibly silent until we stay on track. And that's how we make the podcast short. I'm sorry, I'm going to shut up. Zipped.
No, that's fine, Lex. That's the whole point of asking the question. So
We need to make a Disney podcast, so the Flint and Lex will be totally confused because they haven't seen a Disney movie in like 10 years.
I saw Frozen.
So I mean,
Other than Frozen.
So, just real quick, and we'll move on here. Is there any other worlds that you think you would like to see in Kingdom Hearts 3? Jason or Lex, Flintlock, anybody?
I don't care.
Lex and Flint don't know anyone.
I do not care what's in it. I don't. At this point, it's taken a really long time to come out, and I'm no longer, whatever age I was when I was interested in Kingdom Hearts. I'm not trying to belittle it for adults who are still into Kingdom Hearts, because I've got a lot of really good real life friends who are massive fans of it. I tried to get back into it when I played 1.5 HD whatever it's subtitled, and I just can't do it. I can't do it. Maybe I'll swing back round and enjoy it at some point, but there are too many other games for me to play, and I just get bored with the kind of annoying control scheme. So I hope it's great for people that are fans of it, but I probably won't even buy Kingdom Hearts 3 when it comes out.
That's just shameful. You're going to buy it when it comes out because we're going to play together. You're not allowed to say that.
He'll buy that the moment you finish Final Fantasy VII, Carlie.
Yeah.
That is more likely to happen sooner than Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out.
True.
So he's in trouble.
But world-wise, yeah, I don't care.
He's gonna buy it. He's gonna play with me. Because he makes me play stuff with him all the time that I don't really want to play.
Well, what about you, Carlie? Then what do you want to see? What other worlds do you want to see?
Well, we already mentioned it in one of the previous podcasts that Wreck-It Ralph obviously was the best world to add in there because it's video games.
Jason, I saw you were trying to speak up too. Don't be shy.
I've stopped following like the side games because I didn't have a DS, and most of them were on DS, and I know they're also on PSP. But I was so adamant after like what was like the third one after Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, it was like, Dream Drop Distance, and then Birth by Sleep, and then 3582, impossible to pronounce name. And I just kept on holding out hope that Kingdom Hearts 3 would show up and I would be able to play it and not have to go back. But my friend Taylor says I have to play those games to understand what the hell is going on. So at this point, I'm kind of worn out. I mean, the trailer got me excited, but I'll tell you what I'd like to see, and I have not seen yet. I'd like to see an actual Final Fantasy world appear in one of these games, because it's supposed to be a blending of Final Fantasy and Disney, and what it's become is
that's not it anymore.
Disney, and there's also Final Fantasy somewhere.
You don't really have to play them if you buy like the remasters, because the games that came out they didn't come out on consoles. They came out on portables. They basically just make them into movies, so you just watch all the cutscenes, and you actually have to play them.
If not, there's always the YouTube movies.
Well, there's that too.
That too. Oh, but you can play the remaster and get reacquainted with Kingdom Hearts. Another world, not necessarily a world, but I would like to see the characters. Wally. If anyone here mentions they haven't seen Wally, I'm going to be very angry.
Nope, I haven't seen it either.
Nor have I.
I'm so disappointed.
Is that the one that's about like a mad robot and then everybody cries at the ending, and I'm assuming that means that it explodes or some shit? I don't even like.
You're like your best friend, Slugs.
For real though, I started working in well-known American coffee chain when I was like, what age was that? I think it was like 18.
Starbucks.
Shh. I'm sure we can get sued for that. Yeah, I worked there for like 4 years, and I started working there, and there was this like really annoying guy I worked with, and he was like in like I don't like labels, one of those, and he used to fucking prance around behind the coffee machines, just annoying me when I was trying to work bar, and it was like, it came in one day with like teary eyes. It was like, oh my god, I saw Wally in the cinema last night, and it's just so sad. Like, I need to go back and watch it again and cry again. And I'm not joking. This is the way he spoke to me. So I will forever hate that movie, even though I've never seen it.
I really hope that guy isn't listening to this. Gonna not find this podcast.
If he listens to it, whatever.
You should not hate a movie just because an idiot is something like that. Just watch the movie, please. Just watch the movie. All of you, watch the movie.
We'll see.
Flint, have you seen it? Because you've been very quiet.
Seen which film, sorry?
Wally.
Oh no, I already said that I hadn't seen it. I thought you had that.
I heard Raider.
No, I basically don't watch films. That's what you have to understand.
Well, that's one of the movies that you should see.
Along with like 1,000 others on my list. Okay,
no,
I'll put it on the bottom.
Like, if I would make a list of 5 movies you should see that came out in the last 15 years, that's one of the 5 movies.
Okay.
That's pretty bold.
Yes. It was actually voted by Time magazine, I think, in 2010 maybe, as one of the best movies of the decade.
Okay. But which decade is 2010? Is that the start of this one?
Right.
Is that year
No,
zero?
from 2000 to 2010.
Was that the first and only movie that was out when they made the list?
That movie came out in 2008.
Okay.
If you think about it, Final Fantasy II was one of the best 2 Final Fantasies, when Final Fantasy II was the most recent one.
Yep.
No. Well, okay. Moving on here. Square Enix announced that Final Fantasy XIV now has 5 million registered player accounts. I think this is really momentous, and thanks to Flint, he had stated that Final Fantasy XI had peaked at around half a million, which that's crazy. So, I mean, I'm going to put this out here. I mean, is this a good sign for the franchise? And the reason why I'm asking that is because I'm not particularly a huge fan of MMOs, and it scares me that this game has become so popular that it might influence Square to continue to push Final Fantasy into that MMO realm. And may turn me off from playing the game series. So, I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Is this a good sign for the franchise?
Well, I think they're always going to make main series title single player Final Fantasy games. So I don't think we should worry. I mean, I hope they don't go full MMO because I don't have any desire to play an MMO. I obviously play Final Fantasy XIV, like I play it a lot, but I haven't actually played it in a couple of months. But I don't think we need to worry, really, to be honest, because 11 was a worry, and they've made single player games between then and now. And I think we'll see more, and we obviously know 15 is a single player game. But I think they are going to keep making MMOs because they make them a lot of money, and that's really all that matters to them as a business these days.
When I was looking up the subscriber count for Final Fantasy XI, I saw that even in 2012, the game had been the most profitable Final Fantasy game that Square Enix had ever produced. So they're obviously going to keep doing them, and I don't really mind. I'm not going to play them, but if other people enjoy them, that's fine. As long as they just don't do them too often, once every decade, fine.
But I
well,
just want to
MMO
say, I
should
think
be.
I'm just going to say, I think it's going to be good for the franchise. I think it is actually good for the franchise because I know a lot of people that have come to the single player Final Fantasy games through the MMOs.
That's a good point.
14, I meet a lot of players in 14 who are like, I've never played any other Final Fantasy game. And I'm like, I don't understand. Because sometimes I'll go in and I'll like put in like one of the, because I've got loads of kind of different chat rooms in there. They're called link shells in the game. And I'll just go in and I'll go, oh my god, did you guys see this? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, 5 of them will pop up and be like, oh my god, yeah. And then another 5 will pop up and go, what the hell are you guys talking about? Like, oh, is that another Final Fantasy game? And it's like, please be excited.
For my end, I would be perfectly I didn't mean to cut you off there, Lex. I'm sorry. For my end, I'd be perfectly happy with them continuing to add expansions to Final Fantasy XIV. I mean, Final Fantasy XIV is a very solid MMO. Having played both World of Warcraft and this, I think obviously I personally think it's the better of the two, but I am biased towards the one that I have a subscription for. But I'd be fine with them continuing to add expansions to this. Heaven's Ward is great. Add more expansions. Turn this into your World of Warcraft instead of making every third numbered edition another MMO that we go out and buy another subscription for, and you have 3 million patches to get it right. Make this your MMO. Let us have single players from this point forward, or at least experiment in other areas. Don't make it just an MMO.
I don't know though, because the nice thing about starting all over again, kind of, is that they can tell a new story, and it doesn't get stale. And in terms of graphics moving forward, it's in no danger of looking old yet. The game for an MMO, because it's still one of the prettiest MMOs out there, but it will get old at some point. And then I know like World of Warcraft kind of updates all its old graphics as it goes on, but is that not more effort than it's worth? Because comparing it to World of Warcraft is the biggest MMO ever, still, and it's had subscribers, so I don't know. I don't actually know if they've went back and remade all of their graphics from the ground up from time to time. Have they done that?
Well, they have. They've updated. I mean, the original graphics have changed dramatically. But moreover, from a consumer aspect, it makes more sense that way because you spend less money devoted to updating what you've already got than you do creating a whole new IP. And granted, you could use a lot of the previous assets, but there's something. There was an infographic I saw, which of course it's an infographic. I don't know how accurate it is, but what they found for World of Warcraft was they found that the amount of money that they make from subscriptions alone gives them something like a 90% profit, which is insane from what they actually spend on making the game. So I think there's a lot more money in updating what you've got than creating a new thing. Of course, I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I would imagine. I would be okay with them making a new MMO if they made one set in Ivalice and with Final Fantasy XII's world. That'd be awesome. Other than that,
if I found out that 14 was never going to end, I would lose interest in it. I think, because I find value in knowing that there is an ending, if you know what I mean, specifically to the story. Now, 14 has an excellent story, but I'm not really that interested in the story. I play it because I enjoy playing with other people, because the dungeons are fun, because the fights are amazing, they're really fun, because the classes are great. Almost everything about that game is great. But I don't think I'd be interested in it at all if I found out it was going to continuously update. And that sounds crazy because if you're, enjoying something and you find out it's going to go on forever, you should be happy about it. But all good things should come to an end.
Well, I can see your point there, but what if they had different story arcs? Like, what if, they told this story ended, now you can take your character over and tell this completely different story, like they did with Heavensward. They have a completely
Well,
new,
that's what I'm
unique story.
saying. The expansions already do that, but it's still an extension of the story. It's like, that's not really telling a completely different story. It's continuing the one that's already going. It's a different story arc with the same character, but it's set in the same world and it still progresses that same world. I would want it to end at some point. Really. I don't know why. That's just me. It
makes sense.
I would lose interest in it if I found out that it was never going to end. I would genuinely just. I think I would maybe come back to it from time to time, but I wouldn't I'm paying my subscription right now. I mentioned I haven't played it in 2 months, but I'm still paying my subscription because I know I'm going to jump in at some point. But I would cancel my subscription, and then if I wanted to pay for game time in the future, I'd maybe go back to it in the future if I found out they were going to do that, if I was interested in something, but it would lose value for me.
I understand that. I mean, that's the story going on too long is the reason why I won't start watching certain animes. I was going to start watching One Piece until I found that there are 700 episodes. I don't have that much time. That's like 10 and a half solid days of content that I just can't sit down and watch, man. You know what I like about Rurouni Kenshin? There are 3 seasons and like 80 episodes. I can knock that out in a weekend.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on from that here, somehow or another, I managed to miss in our Gamescom conversation last week that Square did roll out some footage of the Malboro, and they actually showed some actual battle footage, and I will link the battle footage in the show notes this week. And then earlier this week, they actually released a really beautiful screenshot of the Malboro on their on the Square Enix press website. And again, I will link to that in the show notes as well. Did you guys see the battle footage or the screenshot that they released of the Malboro?
I saw the screenshot because my friend Jacob, who has been playing Final Fantasy X recently and hates those things from Final Fantasy VIII, he showed me a picture of that. He hates these things so much, like he has a PTSD fear of these monsters. And he showed me the screenshot and he goes, "I'm never sleeping again."
The battle footage, when you check out the battle footage, it looks like one use of the bad breath attack and it wipes out the whole party. So that's new.
No, it's not. Have you ever played Final Fantasy VIII?
Okay, well, okay.
But an instant death attack is not as terrifying to me as something that can inflict all the status effects, because here's the thing about an instant death attack. Protect Ring or the equivalent, you can block instant death. But when you have all these status effects, you can't block against all of them without a ribbon, if such a thing exists in the game. And with that, you die slowly. You have to sit and watch your characters be destroyed, desperately hoping to get an action in before you can die properly. No,
And if you do get an action, it's usually just run away.
Exactly.
Yes.
I wonder if that's just the regular Malboro in Final Fantasy 15, or if that's some sort of elite,
or
boss
maybe
Malboro, because that is absolutely massive.
It is, and maybe it's more like a hunt, like it was for like the behemoth in the episode to Sky demo.
Yeah, possibly.
I was happy to see it, because it makes it feel more like a Final Fantasy game. It's good to see Final Fantasy staples in there. It looks pretty cool. It's a kind of swamp area, which we haven't seen yet, because I was getting tired of looking at all that field. The next thing I want to see from 15 is something that is not grass.
Also, on August 19th, Final Fantasy Type 0 HD was released on Steam, so for those of you that have been waiting to play this on the PC, it has now been released.
Hooray!
Don't care.
Everyone should play this game. You should care. Shut up. We've had this.
Says the guy who won't watch Wally.
Oh, shut up.
You're
That's
still
meaningless for talking about Final Fantasy here. Everyone should play Typo. It's a great game, in my opinion.
I played a bit of it when I got it for the episode Duskay demo. It is actually a pretty awesome game. I just think it would have been great if it was a mobile game. It's not really a console game for me.
What?
I love the fact that you just specifically stated that the only reason you bought the game was for the episode Duskay demo. I love it.
Yeah, come on, man. I mean, I had no previous knowledge of Type 0 aside from what I read in GameStop, Game Informer, that it was a Japan-only PSP game. And I'm like, you know what? If it's an HD remaster, I'll give it a shot. Then I played the HD remaster, and what it was, it's a sometimes HD remaster, but mostly you're going to have HD assets on top of the original, really poor quality frame. But I don't mind graphics so much if the gameplay is solid, and the gameplay is solid for a PSP game. It would have been amazing if they released some PSP or Vita. That would have been great, but not for PS4.
Let's be honest, a lot of people bought it just to have the demo for Final Fantasy XV.
Yep.
I totally agree. I just think it's interesting that we actually had somebody openly admit it.
I would, if I cared enough to buy the game, it would only be for the demo.
Well, Square actually had
But
a
I don't
survey.
even know, not spending that money on that game.
Square had a survey.
I don't even call it Type 0, I keep calling it Type O.
Yeah, I've been doing that too.
What were you saying, Lex?
Square had a survey that they updated everyone with on the Active Time Report video series. They release one every few months or so. And one of the questions on that survey was basically, did you buy this game specifically for the episode Duskay demo? And the response rate was like something like 10% of people openly said yes. I was only interested in the demo in North America and Europe. But in Japan it was like 50% because obviously Type 0 was released in Japan first, so that's an interesting tidbit.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And since there's no Final Fantasy 15 demo available when you buy the game on PC, they had to throw in a pre-order exclusive loading screen for the game, which I'm sure everyone was really excited about.
And a chocobo to use in a Dota game.
Yeah. A chocobo thing for Dota.
And the people interested in that are Joe and his friends.
It would be remiss,
The game's
actually,
really
not to mention that the HD port of Typo is getting a lot of flack right now because it's locked at 30 FPS.
Yeah, I was looking at the Steam reviews for it earlier. It's at 56% positive at the the which is very
Very
low.
low for Steam.
The Master Race really doesn't like that at all.
Yeah.
The supposed Master Race has problems if the thing could drop down to 59 FPS and they start freaking out. Whoa, hold up here, hang on. What the heck is this nonsense? Are you kidding me? I am playing the greatest game ever made where women come to my house and make out with me while I play this game and they give me $1 million a month to play it, but it's a 59 FPS. That sucks. 0 out of 10.
No.
Day one cancel.
As someone who's recently joined the PC Master Race, I've got to be honest, playing games in 60 FPS makes a difference. It really does. However, I agree that the PC community makes a big stink over nothing in some cases, and when it comes to Type 0, okay, the people who ported it should have made it run in... I'm surprised it doesn't run in 60 FPS, to be perfectly honest. Because it feels like higher than 30 on the PS4. It's obviously not, if it's locked at 30, on the PC. But the game was built on a PSP. It was built for 30 FPS. Maybe they had some problems. I can't imagine that they would go, right, let's just release this game with 30 FPS. Because they have, they have it, and the way it deals with anti-aliasing, I was reading a PC review, the way it deals with anti-aliasing, it actually renders it in 4K and then downscales it to 1080, and it makes the game look pretty amazing. But Square's PC ports suck. To be perfectly honest, they're really bad.
Yeah.
Because
To be fair to them, it did not suck nearly as bad as the Arkham Knight port on PC.
True.
I've only heard stories.
It's very, very, very bad.
Getting back to what Lex said about the playing, because I have a Steam account too. I'll play on PC occasionally. I agree that good graphics can make a huge difference on how the game feels. Like my friend is sitting there. My friend Brendan was sitting there in his computer room with this giant 4K monitor, playing Witcher 3 in full 60 FPS, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. The best games have ever looked, and I swear it makes your reaction times better because you're actually, if it's more like real life. I can get that, but to me, it's as long as I can play the game and not die every 5 seconds, I'm happy. I don't know.
As someone who's played The Witcher 3 on PC, it's just it's better. It's just better. There are games that I do not play on PC, but with Final Fantasy, just don't know how to port games to PC.
7 and 8 were okay-ish, but those were like back in '98, so, and it was IDOS that dealt with those ports. I don't know what company they use now. I don't know. I just know that the 13 ports aren't good either, because I recently bought 13, and it's nice to play the game in 60 FPS, but it goes the frame rate dips a lot as well, so they're shitty.
All right, well, moving on from that then, we also saw the release of Final Fantasy VII on the iOS platform on August the 20th. It's priced at $15.99. I already own like multiple versions of Final Fantasy VII. Probably won't be investing in this mainly because of all the horror stories I've heard about the way that they've set up the other Final Fantasy ports on iOS, so I'll probably be avoiding this myself.
Lex bought it, even though I
Yeah.
told him it was
So
a
I heard.
terrible idea.
I have it. Why did you say it was a terrible idea? It was not a terrible idea.
You already have it on PC. You have it on your PS3.
I actually own it.
It's
I
not a
actually own it
different
3
game.
times on PC, and that's one thing I'm ashamed of.
That's even worse.
Because I bought the first, right, I have the physical PC version that was released in
As do
1998,
I.
which is, I think, acceptable. I have the Square Enix store release, which was released in 2011, I think. And when I got this PC, I bought it on Steam. So I have it 3
You
times.
have a problem.
I have the PSN version also, and I have the original. So I think I own every single version that's been released because I just bought the iOS release as well.
Yeah, I have the original PlayStation version. I have the PSN version. I have the original PC release, and I also bought the version that Square Enix released for PC as well. Yeah, I can't buy it again. I just can't.
Well, Lex, maybe you could tell our listeners if they were only going to buy one version of Final Fantasy VII across all the ones you just mentioned, which one is the best in your opinion?
Definitely not the iOS
No.
one.
I would buy well, I need to wait until the end of the year because I've not released it on PS4 yet, so I need to play that one first.
We can come back into that in a
Okay,
later episode, don't worry.
Right now, I've got to say, oh my god, right, the PlayStation version. The original PlayStation version. The
Yeah,
only thing you really get out of having it on PC is slightly nicer graphics, but I cannot stand it telling you to push cancel instead of X. Or even if they added some sort of like a button mod or a button support mod for the text, then I would say the PC version. You can obviously mod the PC version, which is a nice bonus. But if you want like the original feel of FF7, you need to go for the PlayStation version every time.
Could not agree more.
Yep.
Next piece of news that I had here was the Final Fantasy Portal app released on iOS and Android in the West on August the 19th. It is free to download. The app is intended to be a one-stop place to get all your Final Fantasy news. It offers a free download of the original Final Fantasy through August the 31st, but it has to be played through the Portal app.
And is a not good port.
I've heard it's atrocious.
Yeah, it's bad, just bad.
The Portal app also offers the ability to play and collect triple Triad cards. It will feature characters from across the spectrum of Final Fantasy. You'll be able to share cards with the Final Fantasy XIV version of Triple Triad, and by registering your Square Enix ID, you can earn points that can be exchanged for digital content such as new Triple Triad cards. And I know you're ecstatic about that, Jason.
Oh my god. Okay. Like, even people who don't like Final Fantasy VIII like Triple Triad, so much that it made it in Final Fantasy XIV as one of the mini games at Gold Saucer, one of like the main mini games. It is an awesome,
Like me.
Yeah, okay, there you go. See, Carlie hates Final Fantasy VIII and all that came out of it, except for this card game. That's a sign, my friends. This is an amazing card game. There's a real-life version of it in Japan that I can't get here, and I'm mad about that, because I would totally play that. But this app is a great version of it. I've been playing it for like the past several days. Every time my crystals replenish, I just go right back in and play 5 more matches. And the controls are very fluid. You just drag a card and drop it. It feels more like you're actually playing cards versus playing a video game. And the assortment of CPU characters is awesome. You actually have, this is the best part, which you did not mention, it has a multiplayer feature. You can battle people online that are randomly assigned, or if you and a friend have the game, the Portal app together, if you are within Bluetooth connection range, you can actually battle each other. Although at this point, there are a few errors with that, but they're working on making it work.
Yeah, I downloaded the Portal app. It's pretty nice. I mean, it's the way it's laid out, it's pretty nice and stuff. I don't know. I love Triple Triad in Final Fantasy VIII up to the point that you started getting into some of the really absurd rules, and then I just stopped playing. So I'm willing to give this a chance.
The good news is they don't have some of the more ridiculous rules like random, which I hated, and so far I haven't seen same wall or elemental, which both annoyed the hell out of me.
I don't like elemental, but that's probably the only one I don't like, and even then it's a simple rule. I just often forget about it when I'm playing Triple Triad and it fucks me up.
I know, right?
Trust me, it's happened to the best of us.
It's like, all right, I've got a 9, you've got an 8, I'm about to get you. Haha, no. Oh, wait, elemental, I screwed up. Damn it.
Yeah, so many times has that happened to me. It's rage-inducing.
It is, yes.
Next piece of news here is that Square Enix announced its lineup and events for PAX Prime 2015. PAX Prime takes place in Seattle, Washington on August 28th through August 31st. Square will be presenting Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward, Final Fantasy XV Episode Disque 2.0, and Final Fantasy Explorers, among other games. There will be a live active time report with Final Fantasy XV director Hajime Tabata on August 29th from 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And in addition, Square Enix will be selling limited quantities of 2 albums that I would really like to have. Final Fantasy XIV Before the Fall. It'll be priced at $50 and features music from Final Fantasy XIV patch 2.2 through 2.5. And includes a bonus code for an exclusive in-game Premogs minion, which is a set of 5 musical Moogles. And Final Fantasy XIV From Astral to Umbral will be the other soundtrack. It's priced at $40 and features popular songs from Final Fantasy XIV that have been altered into band and piano arrangements.
Will there be the Black Mages?
Right? I'm sorry? What were you saying, Jason?
I said, but will there be the Black Mages?
I don't know. Good question. more information on PAX Prime can be found at Square Enix's press site, and again, I will link to that on the show notes. Wanted to go ahead and give Carlie a chance here and give us an update on her TLS Final Fantasy VII Community playthrough.
But this is gonna be a very quick update because I have not played it in the last 2 weeks. To be fair, I started school,
Boo!
so I started school, so I haven't had a chance to play it. So you better ask Lex, who has a more accurate and present description of the Final Fantasy VII Community because he's actually where he's supposed to be, I think, since he's the one running it.
All right, Lex. Well, let's get your update then.
Okay, we are on the final chapter. I literally posted the target for the final chapter. Yes.
Yep.
I posted the target for the final chapter not 10 minutes before we started recording this podcast. So, yeah, I mean, this is it. We're reaching the end.
I'm very, very behind.
I'm even further behind though.
Have you not started, Flint?
Oh no, I started. I got as far as Airbuster.
Oh god.
I'm assuming that's further than me.
I think I'll just play it all through in one day, one of these days, just to say that I've done it.
Yeah, you totally should. I've been keeping up to date with it. I fell behind, to be honest, about last week. I think I was like Costa del Sol, and I'm the one posting the chapters. So, but I kind of blasted through it a couple of days last week, and I'm on target now. So I'm going to stream the final chapter later on this week at some point.
It's a good thing you remember what happens in the rest of the game, even though you haven't played it.
Yeah, because I could totally just post about it and just be like, yeah, so I had a great time this chapter, and wahaha. Didn't actually do it. I remember, I left Alexander because I couldn't be bothered dipping in the hot springs and all that stuff. Yeah, it's a handy skill. But we're on the final chapter. Can't believe it.
So where does the final chapter pick up for those that haven't been keeping up with it, Lex?
Just Northern Crater, just before the final assault, or
Disc
because
3.
chapter 10 or second to last chapter was go do optional shit chapter. So it was literally right before the end, and even then I did say to people, you can dip into the Northern Crater if you want to pick up some stuff and level. So that's us. It's the final chapter is literally just the end assault.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're gonna be getting updates from me way after this is
Yeah.
over.
Which is fine. Be
I'm,
sure to update the thread.
I'm actually trying to catch up desperately because, of course, I got distracted by other things. But I'm currently about to go into space. So
What? All right, said rocket time. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm so confused.
Well, he
When
said
were
he
you an
gets distracted
astronaut?
easy, and I said squirrel, so... I started playing the community playthrough also, and then I got as far as Gold Saucer, the first trip to the Gold Saucer, and I decided to put it off here because of starting the retrospective series. But I will be picking it back up. So,
And you're still ahead of me.
Okay, here's the thing, right, with these community playthroughs. I think it is the obligation to complete certain things in the game that stops people from doing it, because instead of being fun, which it is for people who participate and are okay about like, oh, I'm going to play this game, it feels like an obligation. So it becomes a kind of chore, and it becomes one of those things that you put to the back of your mind and think, I can do that anytime, I'll do it later. And you procrastinate, you do other shit. You clean your house, and you're like, then I'll sit down and I'll do, my Final Fantasy VII chapter. And people don't do it. And it's because it becomes this obligation. If you said to yourself, I'm going to play through Final Fantasy VII, which is what everyone does when they vote for it in this community playthrough, and you actually said, I want to sit down and play this game, you'd have it complete within a week. And here we are 2 months later, and so many people are like, oh, I'm behind, oh, I don't know what to do. It's just one of those things that happens with every community playthrough, and nobody holds it against anyone if you take a bit longer to complete it than the chapters really allow.
Really, too. For me, the thing that has kept me way behind is that just as we started, I started having computer problems.
Likely excuse, Carlie. Likely excuse.
It's true. You can ask Lex.
Yeah, her graphics card was broken,
Oh.
so she doesn't have a graphics card right now. She's using integrated graphics. Ugh.
A master race using an integrated one. Imagine my pain.
So I assume then, Carlie, that you also would not have any kind of update for the TLS podcast Final Fantasy Retrospective series. Then have you tried picking up Final Fantasy 1 at all?
No. That I don't have a very good excuse other than I've been playing Dragon Age Inquisition, and you can ask Lex. When I start playing Inquisition, I do not pay attention to anything.
That's a pretty good excuse, actually.
Well, I know. Jason and I have both been playing Final Fantasy 1, and we've both completed our playthrough of the game. As Jason mentioned earlier, he's actually taking on a challenge run since we completed so early, and he's doing a 4 Thief challenge run. I decided that I am going to go through and play the bonus dungeons on the Final Fantasy 1 20th Anniversary Edition. I believe it's the same bonus dungeons that actually appear on the Dawn of Souls version of the game as well. But I decided I'm going to play through those, and I will be talking a bit about those when we do our actual podcast episode for that. We did, JasonTandro actually gave me a really good idea. He started a live journal blog to just kind of keep track of his progress as we go along this journey. You can actually read Jason's blog at JasonTandroPlay.livejournal.com. And I actually started one as well. Mine's simply VaderSW1.livejournal.com. Those links will also be in the show notes here. You can track our progress and see how things are coming along as we go through the actual whole series of the games.
Watch me eloquently rage in the most beautiful prose you've ever read.
If I made a live journal, I would just say, cannot be ours to play today, gonna play tomorrow, every single day.
I have a lot of respect for you two, Jason and Vader, for doing this. On the other hand, I think you're totally insane because, like, you already have a list of 20-odd games, and then as soon as you finish the first one, you're like, you know what, I could do with some more games on this list. Let's just go through the previous one again with more difficulty, or let's do the bonus dungeons. And as if it's not going to take enough time, let's like make a blog and write it all up as well. It's going to take you years.
I second this kudos. I second it wholeheartedly, and I will not be joining you for. I might join in with the games I enjoy playing, but 1, 2, and 3. I mean, 1 was okay on the PSP. 2 was terrible. 3, I fell asleep so many times. The rest, I may dip in, dip out, I don't know, but 1, 2, and 3, you're on your own, and you have my kudos. You have it.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. I've managed to turn my PSP into a Final Fantasy machine. It now has on this 32 gigabyte SD card that I got, I have Final Fantasies 1 through 9, including the after years of 4, because I got the complete collection. I've got Chrono Trigger, about to get Chrono Cross, and Final Fantasy Tactics, and Vagrant Story. So I've just got them all.
By the next podcast, I'm gonna predict that Vader and Jason are gonna be, after completing all of that with Final Fantasy 1, they're gonna say, oh, I decided to start it again and decided to do a playthrough blindfolded.
Now, don't be silly. Why blindfold yourself when you can actually get chemically altered and just actually blind yourself chemicals? I mean, come on. We play to win, man.
I am not endorsing that idea. But yeah, I mean, realistically, I have no delusions that I'm going to be able to clear this series within 6 months to a year. That's not realistically possible, especially not with having family commitments and other things going on too. So, like I said, I'm not pushing real hard for a set date for all of this to be completed. I'm going to try and give us as much time as possible based on the game that we're playing, just to make sure we have plenty of time to get through it and do some side quests and make sure we're able to paint a fully accurate picture when we actually go to do our review podcasts. I actually did not expect to clear Final Fantasy 1 as fast as I did, but I also didn't do a shitload of level up like I usually do. I didn't do a bunch of level grinding and stuff. I finished the game, I think, at level 48, so usually I'm around level 70 when I finish it.
Wow.
Oh, go ahead.
Nothing. I was just like, maybe it's because I played it on easy mode, but I finished the game at level 40.
Wow.
Well, easy mode is too easy, to be fair.
Last.
Guess where I'm playing it at?
Pro tip, play as a 4-warrior party. It's horribly unbalanced, but you actually kick so much ass you don't even notice.
Last little piece of news we've got here is Jason, I wanted to give you a chance to go over your contest coming up here.
Yeah, I decided to throw this on here since, by the time this actually comes up, it should be announced, or maybe just give you a sneak preview if it's coming up. But starting on September the 1st, we're holding a FanWorks contest. This is part of my wanting to do stuff with the new title I got. So basically, it's going to be a Halloween-themed FanWorks contest with Halloween-themed prompts. And there's not a lot of solid details as of yet. I'm still waiting for final approval on a few of these things. But what we know for certain now is that the contest is going to run from September 1st to October the 13th, and then voting will take place from the 14th to the 29th. We're going to determine the victor for each category on the 29th. That gives me a couple of days to get the front page articles up for Halloween. There's going to be 2 categories, fan art and fan fiction, which each have their own prompts. And the winner in each category is going to win a t-shirt as well as be featured in a front page article. So just a little thing to look forward to. Anybody's free to join. If you want to join in and you're not a member of the forums, just join the Lifestream and, sign up and sign into the contest. And hopefully we get a lot of good people and a lot of good work.
Right on. It sounds like a lot of fun. So, I mean, are we talking are you going to do like a cosplay feature as well?
Well, cosplay is going to be featured under fan art. You can use, in fan art, I allow any kind of art. Photography, cosplay, sketches, watercolors, abstract, whatever you want to do, so long as we can tell it's related to the prompts, basically. And you can choose one prompt or all the prompts, whatever you want to do. Basically, I'm not being super serious about that as long as we can tell it's related to Halloween,
Right on.
I wholeheartedly endorse your project.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
And encourage participation from everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait to see what comes out of this.
If you are not a member of the Lifestream forums, please come and join join in on the fun here. Join in on Jason's contest. Give us feedback on the podcast. Join us for a conversation. We're friendly people, I promise. We don't bite hard.
Yeah, most of us.
Ryu sometimes bites, just to be fair.
Well, like I said, not hard.
And Yep has tentacles. But they're very gentle.
And you would know this. Lifestream
Yes.
After Dark. There we go. God.
I think with that said, I had planned on doing some listener feedback, but I think I'm going to hold that off for the next episode. I think we ran a bit longer than I thought we would. I did want to go ahead and say this real quick though, with regards to doing to reading the feedback from folks. We really, really, really appreciate the fact that you guys have been emailing us, leaving us YouTube remarks. It feels good to know that people are paying attention to the podcast or listening to the podcast and enjoying it as much that they would feel like they want to interact with us about it. I'm really thrilled about that. But I do want to go ahead and say that if you have a dissenting opinion, I am perfectly okay with that. That's the whole point of stirring up the conversation. Just don't taint your opinion by calling people names or being a complete jerk about it. No need to call people names. No need to get snarky about it. If you can present your point, feel free to present your point, but no need for the name calling and stuff. Just
My
wanted to put that out
interest
there. Your interest is piqued.
Yes. What is this about?
Okay, Jason, go ahead and read this. We might as well go ahead and get this one out of the way since I made mention of it.
Okay,
here.
I'll
I
do the-
apologize.
this
I
is-
did
this
read.
is-
No,
I
that's
read
okay.
the show notes, but I didn't read the whole way through.
It's you skimmed it. It's all good. This is so Creative Ziggy. I actually shot you a message, and I did want to get this read back because I mean, apart from the first paragraph, it's actually a really good thing. So don't let the initial comment, which Mike's referring to here, don't let that taint what happens next. But this is a YouTube comment from Creative Ziggy on our previous podcast. Normally we'd read these in funny voices, but I don't have the time to try and do a Brad Neely voice here, so we're just gonna read it. We're just gonna read it straight. And this is the comment to which Mike was referring. Just okay. First up, don't get me wrong. I love your podcast and your channel, but I am sick to fucking death of people calling this trailer a hugging simulator, which we all did. You guys sound like a bunch of whiny little kids because you didn't get what you wanted. Creative Ziggy, I totally respect everything else you say, but I mean, that's kind of an offensive way to begin a comment. I mean, that's like, listen to how smart I am, listen to how childish you sound. I'm going to be childish to tell you that you're being childish. That's kind of hypocritical, man. And I appreciate everything you're about to say down here, but try to be peaceful. We're all just Final Fantasy lovers here. This is not a argument on 4chan. This is guys talking about Final Fantasy. I mean,
Right.
There's no reason.
And a girl.
There's no reason to get this angry. It's yeah. Okay, guys and a girl and apparently goats. So, but
I mean, to be fair, by YouTube standards, it's not really that bad of a
No, it's
comment.
not.
It's not.
But I wanted to kind of hopefully nip this in the bud. I know I'm not going to be able to nip it from everybody, but he presents a very well-rounded argument here. He puts up some really good points. He didn't need to be snarky at the start of it to get his point across.
I agree, and I'm going to read that comment now because I really want to, because this is seriously actually a very good point. So we were talking about the Dawn trailer and how we were not satisfied. Creative Ziggy actually brings up some really good points. He was talking with a YouTuber friend, and they came to this conclusion. This trailer also gives the people what they have waited 10 years for, the information needed to confirm that Nomura's original vision is still intact with this iteration of their current progress. Dark and mature. When before I had almost turned on SE completely because of the J-pop boy band shit and colorful world. Here, let me give you some insight into what the trailer is trying to say. Prophetic sorrow. Yeah, text is seen in between the scenes that talk about God, stars choosing a son to fulfill some prophecy. Scene which is at the end of episode Duske for those who've actually completed it. You were shown a prophetic image with all the summons on it, as well as Etro being in front of the sun on top of the image. Not only does the text provide this establishment, this scene with Noctis's father looking up at the gods in the trailer practically confirms it. Scarring childhood, which actually provides a contrast between how Luna and Noctis were brought up as children. Noctis has the loving, devoted father, whereas Luna's is more aggressive and abusive. You see that in the scenes when they're cutting back and forth between the hug and the terrible thing that happens. The point was to provide a contrast between the two established characters. Brilliant observation. I really like that. Intertwined characters. This, I would argue, was more shown in the switchover from the trailer from Versus 13 to Final Fantasy 15 back in 2013, where Noctis is being dragged through the mist by Luna, suggesting the characters would have a strong bond. However, in this trailer, there's nothing of the sort. It's just providing a contrast to what these characters' backstories were like 15 years ago. Granted, there could be more of it, but it's only meant to be a teaser. Dead parents. Again, this is more established at the end of episode Duske in the image, where Luna is seen walking away from the ruins of Lucas to escape the capital of Accordion, Alista. I don't know, whatever. Someone on the radio confirms that King Regis died during the peace treaty. What's interesting, however, is they even presume that Noctis and Luna to be dead as well, even though they're still alive. Remember the dog that was shown? That's actually Fenrir, which is a very big thing if you know his background. Since his signature move is called Howling Moon, it links Fenrir to Luna, which means moon. And Tabata did mention that the dog would play an important role in the story. Like you said, though, the trailer actually had very little of anything in it, which was pretty much the point we were getting at to begin with, was that the trailer was not episode Duske, nor was it anything of actual substance. And again, Creative Ziggy, I love your analysis. You would do well on the forums because you really have the kind of mind that just overanalyzes stuff. Like when the guys put up the visual analysis for the Final Fantasy VII remake. That's the kind of detail you went into, and I really appreciate that. But again, I have to agree with what we said in episode 5, that we were expecting more, and we didn't get it.
See, that whole analysis is really good and all. That's not what you're supposed to do with a trailer. The trailer is supposed to excite you. It's supposed to interest you, and the trailer failed to do all of that. Take the Deadpool trailer. That was exciting. That was interesting. It presented the tone and the mood and what the movie was gonna be like. And you were excited. At least those of us that like Deadpool and want to see the movie and all that stuff. The Final Fantasy with that trailer did not do that. The other thing, that's not about the YouTube comment, but the whole not Stella thing, the abused childhood, I do not approve of that at all. so not liking that at all.
Lex, did that satisfy your curiosity?
It sure did. Yeah, no, I completely understand that. Yeah, you should present your arguments respectfully, please. Although asking for that in YouTube comments is like asking for a miracle. But that was a really nice detailed analysis of the trailer, and it was a really interesting, I would say, listen, but I read it as it was being read out. So yeah, I think it's really interesting stuff, but try to frame your arguments in a nicer way, please. Yeah, we're not out to hurt you.
Absolutely.
And seriously, if you're not a member of the forums, get on here because
that's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, you would do well on these forums. You've clearly got the kind of mind that can pick apart these things and get every ounce of entertainment out of them. So seriously, you and anybody else listening to the podcast, join the forums. We're awesome people, really.
Yeah, and I think with that being said here, I do want to go ahead and close up the show. I know there are certain members of us that are looking to get to bed here at this point.
Indeed.
See, you're completely wrong because Lex doesn't sleep at all.
He doesn't sleep, he waits.
I have to sleep tonight. I've been up all day and doing like stuff that's made me really tired. And I need to get up and do it all again tomorrow, so...
Understood.
See, you say that, but you said that before, and then 3 hours later you're still online because you still haven't...
When?
You mean when?
When has that happened ever?
About 3
A lot of
Yeah,
times.
3 a.m. usually. But yeah, no, not tonight. Shower, bed, sleepy chimes.
All right.
Flint has also done that on several occasions. I want to go to bed. It's 3 hours later, still not in bed.
You should stream you sleeping. I think that would get a lot of views.
Oh, shit.
What?
Okay.
Not sure with the right audience that we'll be looking
People
for.
who watch the Truman Show.
So this episode's question for the listenership here. What are some of the other Disney worlds that you would like to see introduced in Kingdom Hearts 3? We've not been getting many answers to the questions for the listenership. I'm throwing those out there just for fun and for interactivity here. I'd really like to hear some folks' answer on those. So please, we do want to hear from you. Send your questions and feedback to us at lifestreampod@gmail.com. You can also reply to the episode posts each week on the Lifestream.net forums. Please leave us feedback on iTunes. We will do our best to read your questions, comments, and feedback on the air. We do not have any iTunes feedback at this point. The more feedback we can get from you guys, the more notice we can get the podcast here. So please do leave your feedback on iTunes. And with that said, we would like to thank you again for listening to the Lifestream Podcast. Take care and always protect the crystals.
Bye.
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 Music featured on this episode is courtesy of Incompetech.com.